Hi beautiful super soul sisters. I think I'm going to talk today about letting go shoes. Man, they can be quite tough ones to wear. It goes back to the whole Buddhist thing of being too attached. When you're so attached to something or someone, the more attached you are, the more you suffer. That's really what it boils down to, right? And it applies to absolutely everything. This is why the whole Buddhist drive is to have nothing that you're attached to. That's why they live such simplistic lives, you know, and it's literally the food that you eat and their shawls that they wear, and they keep life very uncluttered, don't they? You know, you think of the Dalai Lama, and you know, they're connecting to source a lot more. They spend more time focused on that. Their Asta shoes, their reticular activating shoes and glasses is centered around living a heart-centered life, living from a place of light being more than the human doing and the material that goes with that. You know, the non-material is more of a focus for them than the material, I guess, at the end of the day. And when we, you know, I know we've spoken about let them be shoes. That's more about letting people be on their own path. And sometimes, not sometimes, there is all the time, or quite often, shall I say, especially if you're a parent, if you're a mum, you know, you really want to kind of hang on and hold the reins and go, sweetheart, this way. You want to go this way. Remember, I was talking about the fork in the road shoes, like the fork shoes. You know, you want to go this way. I'm telling you to go there. You know, we can't. We have to. They come through us, but not for us. You know, our children, as Wayne Dwyer was saying. You know, it's that whole thing of, we have to be there more as, and that's how I'd like to see myself, is that I'm more of a guide than an instructor or a coach, and, you know, do this and do that and take that step and put those shoes on. I don't really want to do that. I like to go, here's all the different shoes that you could wear. Which ones do you want to wear? And then you wear them, and then you pick the path that best suits you so that you can go on it and land up where you want to be, so that you don't live a life of regret, that you don't live a life of, God damn, I should have done this differently, or, you know, how did I even land up here? I wish I'd woken up a lot sooner and seen that, you know, made more of my time, you know, had better time with the people in my life that I should have, or did have, or could have had, or whatever it is, do you know? So let's minimize that opportunity of those opportunities of going wrong, of going astray, or being directionless and wandering aimlessly with life happening to you. I would so much rather go, look, you know, this is all the wisdom that I've learnt from all the ages, that I'm just, you know, sharing with you. I've put it in the terms of Feng Shui closet. Here's ones that you don't want, here's ones you do want. You work it out. When you get real clear, then you can wear the ones that you want, and it takes you on a path that you actually want to be on. I mean, like a life fulfilled, right? Isn't that what we all want for ourselves and for our loved ones? I mean, definitely for me. But sometimes, you know, like, because we come here, I believe, you know, to have earth lessons. And I've worked, because of my hypnotherapy, oh, who's that? It's just coming up for me, and I was speaking to an amazing hypnotherapist the other day about this, and she's actually done one of his courses. I think it's Richard Newton. I'm not 100% sure, guys, but he talks about life between lives, and I've had this experience actually with clients of mine where, you know, it's like they're in a screen room, and you know, they're picking who their parents are. And it's actually quite out there, because, you know, I was never into past lives and between lives or anything of the such. And so when I started having people sort of talking this way, I was like, okay, that's a bit out there. Not too sure about that. And who knows, you know, who knows if it is real or if it's not. But it doesn't, you know, at the end of the day, what you believe is what you believe, right? I mean, and that just happened enough times for me to go, well, maybe there's something in it. I don't know. But what is interesting is that, you know, we do appear to come here to learn our lessons, what I call Earth School, or other people also call Earth School, and we're either going to get them or we're not, right? And sometimes, you know, they take a path that we would really rather they don't, or we've taken a path that really we shouldn't have. And we've sometimes put on shoes that really actually we should never have put on in the first place. Maybe we're unkind to somebody, or, you know, caused havoc, or, you know, caused harm even, or, you know, whatever the thing is that we could have actually done differently. And sometimes we actually have to let them go, because that's just their path. It is their way. And it's for them to learn. They got that. It is not for us to interfere with their path. Now, this can go from really minor stuff like, honey, do you really want to be eating gluten all the time because you know that you are gluten intolerant and that it really bungs you up, and you know it's unhealthy for you and you get stomach problems and it could make your condition worse. And, you know, that's the let him be shoes. You've just got to go, well, I've just got to let him be, and he's going to have to, or she's going to have to learn the hard way, you know, and that's their thing. All you can say is, maybe not great, and it would be super if you didn't. And then it'll be things that are more serious, that, you know, decisions that people have made in their lives, or again, you know, as a mother, a caring mother, helping their child to make a right decision about something quite serious. It's like, you know, I was talking about the fork in the road shoes. You know, when you got your fork shoes on, it's like you are going to be presented, honey, with party pills and, you know, drinking and driving and unpleasant people. How can we prepare them so that, you know, they can make their own decisions? But the let them go shoes are sometimes like they're just going to do what they're going to do. And when it comes to the more serious stuff, it's actually really hard to watch people going off the rails, especially if you care about them, and still be able to keep the door open. And you just, there is courage, I suppose, almost to the point of sometimes needing Xena warrior shoes to put them on and go, it is not for me to interfere with their path. And sometimes they don't get it right, and sometimes they get it so wrong that it lands up real bad, like something really bad happens to them. Sometimes they even cross over. And I've also even had it where, you know, it's really hard. Sometimes people have to let go because the environment has become so toxic that it puts them at harm, and it puts their kids at harm, or it puts their partners at harm, or themselves in harm's way, that it's painful, but they have to let them go. They have to go, as much as I love you, I can't do this anymore. And sometimes people struggle with guilt around that, so just be aware of that. It's like, oh, you know, I feel like I should because I'm a parent, or I'm their partner, or, you know, we're related, or whatever it is. And I would say go and get some support with accepting that it is genuinely their path. Like, again, it is not for you to interfere, but if it's putting you in harm's way, you have to let them go. And that can be really painful, especially if you love them, and it's heartbreaking to watch. I have seen some mothers and fathers have to do this, and you know, like, then I'm not saying closing the door, I'm just saying we can't have this toxic behavior and support you. We won't enable you anymore. So by not enabling, there's a chance actually of recovery in the more serious cases of drinking and drugs and stuff like that, because you're not being the enabler. You're going, okay, you actually are on your own, and you actually have to want to recover and keep the door open. I'm under no circumstances shut the door, you know, I would say, unless of course they're being violent and hurtful, obviously then, you know, but I'm just saying it's that letting go process can be really painful in that sense. And also, dare I say, in death. You know, I've had this with suicides. I've had, you know, not people that I've looked after, but having to come to terms with people that have passed. How could I have done this differently? The guilt that sits around that, about like, maybe if I'd done this and I should have done that, and they struggle to let go. And just even with normal death, it doesn't even have to be a suicide. It's that whole thing of, you know, accepting. So Eckhart Tolle talks about pain body, that we have pain body and it moves in, and we ride the wave, and then eventually it moves out. And I would say with death and suicides and like serious cases, it's a death process. You know, you're going to most likely have to go through the 4 stages, you know, of the, you know, the anger and the numbness, the anger, you know, denial is another one, and then also getting to the point of acceptance. And that's all the process of sometimes letting go. But you can sometimes compress that if you acknowledge it a lot sooner and move through it. Those who bottle, it's a lot worse. And being strong enough to let go and being okay with letting go is sometimes you quite often need help with. But if you go inside, you will hear a little voice that says you have to let go. And sometimes you just have to listen to that voice. And it's never easy, the whole letting go process. But there is peace in knowing that you've done the best that you can. And that you will be there when they are genuinely open to helping themselves. If they have crossed over, that you can, that this is something that they've actually chosen, and no matter what you would have done, most likely that wouldn't have changed that process, because they're on their own path and they chose a way that you didn't want them to go. And that's quite often what it is that we wanted it different, you know, and it's coming to terms with that as well. So letting go shoes, hard, really quite tough sometimes. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. If you're struggling with letting go, let me know. You know, you can either bring it up in the VICKI Jane Facebook group, free to join if you're not already in it. And yeah, just, you can even direct message if you're really struggling. And we'll see if we can put together a group of for folks who are struggling. If you are grieving an actual loss and haven't been able to move on, you're struggling with letting go, or maybe it's in a relationship, because, you know, some people don't even have to die. You know, it is still it's a death process. I call them mini deaths. We have little deaths every day. You know, little losses and bigger losses, and sometimes it's actually harder to let go when they actually haven't passed. I have worked with people with that as well, in relationships where it's just like, it actually would have been better if they had passed, you know, for them in their mind, because they think, you know, then it would have been finite and it wasn't because of them and things didn't work out. It would have been easier. So interesting psychology. But letting go can be, sometimes you need help and that's okay. You know, don't be shy. You wouldn't be the first. There's loads of people who are out there who need that help. So if it's going to make a difference, do the reaching out. All right, I hope you found that useful, everyone. Quite a heavy pair of shoes to wear, but yeah, we often need to wear them. Namaste. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.